Hello. We'll get started in a few minutes, just hoping a few more folks can join us, but welcome to Hypernatural 101. Um, and yeah, we'll start soon. Hi, I see folks are slowly rolling in, so we're just going to give it a few minutes just to let people join the call. Welcome to Hypernatural 101 webinar. Our chat function is open, so feel free to chat, say hello, where you're from, etc. Um, Welcome. And then also for questions, please use our Q&A option to ask a few questions, um, or ask them in the chat if that's easier. I'll go through those at the end of the call. So we'll go through a really quick how to use Hypernatural. I'll go through some really high level features. If this feels pretty elementary, then you should join our next webinar, which we have another one next week. That's a deep dive on Hypernatural. So, but again, we'll get started in a few just as folks start to roll in. Good morning, folks. Okay. All right. Well, in the interest of time, just because I want to make sure you all get to ask your questions and we get through as many questions as possible. I'll go through a demo, cover a few key things within Hypernatural, and then we'll go through questions. So yeah, welcome Hypernatural 101. This is meant to be very high level of like all the major features, but we're not going to get into like super nitty-gritty things. So if you are interested in getting in deeper, you've been making videos for a while, I highly recommend coming to our next webinar next week, which is a deep dive on Hypernatural. Right, let's get started. All right, so here is the Hypernatural homepage. As you can see right now, we're running a promo for VO3 video. You can make one video for free using VO3. If you haven't done that already, please go do that. Um, Here is our dashboard. It is pretty much as simple as this. Like you can enter a prompt or an idea here for something that you want to create, but I'll go through a few other things that you can do other than entering a prompt. So if you click this plus button here, you can start by just including some images that will get included into your video. So you can use the library, which is our library of stock images, um, or you can use a photo or a video that you would like to upload. And you can upload up to 10 of these. Down here, you'll see we have create script from, and there are three options. So you have narrated audio. So this means you can use a script for background audio, or if you have like a podcast video that and you want it transcribed, this would be what you use. Um, Podcast audio. And then here would be like a podcast video that you want transcribed. You would upload it here, the system would transcribe it and then add B-roll to that video. Then we also have voiceover. So this is if you already have a script. If you have a script that you pretty much want untouched, but you want it to get formatted through the system for a video, you would use the voiceover option. So those are the three options for creating script from here. But the other really simple option is just to start with a prompt of an idea. So I'm going to start with a video of a senior ditch day. And I've created some custom characters, but we'll go through that in a moment. I'm just going to name them so we make sure that they get included. All right, so senior ditch day with Michelle, Anton, and Claudia. I have created a custom style. I'll go through how to create a custom style, but you can also create a custom style here. Just upload an image, name it, and add a description. You could also just upload an image and name it, not have to add a description, or you can just add a description. I'll go through other formats for accessing this, but just so you know, like this is one way to create a custom style is directly from this prompt box. We also have other styles here already available for you. So the photographic, animation, 8-bit, these are things that we include here that we will test and make sure are good styles. So if this is your first time using it and you're a little bit confused about video styles, I recommend using one of the styles that we already have available here for you. And then getting started and testing out styles after you've created some videos and kind of get a sense of what it is that you want it to look like. So I'm going to use 1980s nostalgia, which is what I had selected. You can also select aspect ratio here. I'm going to go keep it as landscape, and then you can select the length of video, which I won't do. Let's get started. So now it's creating a script. As you can see, it's already selected a narrator. Generally, if it's a narrator you've used many times, it'll be the same narrator. Um, but if not, it'll just pick something that makes sense for the script. And then it's casting my characters here. As I mentioned, I've already created custom characters for these. I'll go through the process for doing them. So as you can see, they've been casted here because I've used their exact names. Before going on to make video, strongly suggest reviewing this script and making sure that it feels right for what it is that you were looking for, that the storyline is what you were looking for, especially if you use the idea prompt. If you used your own script and voiceover, just make sure that like this is what you were hoping for. The other thing I suggest is going through the descriptions and just also making sure that the descriptions of visually what is going on match what you were looking for. So up here, we have narrator. You can preview this narrator here.
Every character deserves the right voice. I could.
If that doesn't feel like the right narrator, you can go ahead and select a different narrator. There are a bunch of standard voices available here for use. You can also create a custom voice. So I've included my own custom voice, but here you can also add a custom voice. So if you haven't yet created a custom voice, but you want to use one, you can add a custom voice here and just record your voice. I'm going to leave it as my voice through the recording. Hello, I'm recording my voice. I can choose to read this or not. I'm using my best microphone to get the best voice possible. I'm also making lots of different voices, like sounding super silly or really angry. I can just keep talking, saying anything, just keep going. We'll use this, we'll leave it as my voice, and then the voice will generate. In the interest of time, I won't wait for, oh, well, never mind. It's super fast. And then here you can preview. Hello there, I'm ready for my role. Once upon a time in a faraway land. Once upon a time in a faraway. All right, and it gives you a couple different previews. You can choose to record it again, or you can create a whole new voice. Again, I've already added a custom voice for myself, so I'm gonna not add this one. And I might keep Bill as the narrator. The style I selected here, 1980s nostalgia, which again, like I've already picked this as what I want, but if for whatever reason the style selected here is not the right one, this is a good time to go ahead and make a change to that style before it generates. There is a way to change it once it's already generated, but of course it's just best to do it if you can double check these things before generating. The aspect ratio here is landscape, and then the characters. So we have Claudia, who is a custom character that I've created. But let's say it had selected one of our stock characters and I didn't necessarily want to use that character. Go here. I'm going to just add Claudia again. I will choose my voice for this one so I can add a voice to this character. The reason for this is Claudia has lines in the script. So whatever lines here are designated to Claudia, it will be my voice, my custom voice that will be speaking when Claudia is the character speaking. So I'll generate this character. As you can see, so I didn't add any description for Claudia, but the system's already started to add some descriptions here in terms of her hairstyle, her hair length, what she's wearing, characteristics like the scrunchie on her head. So if I wanted to make changes, I could change down here just maybe I didn't want a scrunchie on her head. Um, so I want to remove that. I could just say wearing glasses and then regenerate without the scrunchie. Um, but overall, like this is the character I was looking for. Again, I've already added this one, so I won't add it again. But once I'm done, I would go up here to create character. And it's regenerating with the change I've made. Still has a scrunchie on her head. Okay. Sometimes it's a little better to just add an image. Like the system will get a little confused if you've added an image with something that includes something, but if you try a couple times, it should get rid of the characteristic here that is already included in the reference image. Or another suggestion here would be not to use the reference image and just to add the description, so that way it can use solely the description and not get confused by the reference image that you are using. If you're using a reference image, like the reference image is very important. It's taking information from that as well. So just be mindful of the quality of the reference image, some of the things that are included in the reference image that like the system might have a hard time removing if it's in the reference image. So just be mindful of like the picture that you upload here when you're thinking about creating a custom character. The other thing is like the video style. If the video style is like drastically different from the reference image, you might notice that in the output. So my suggestion would also be like if you could add a reference image that's similar to your video style, it makes the output significantly better. All right. Okay, so again, I've already added Claudia. She's here. I also have this custom character named Michelle. If you scroll down, you'll see all of our all of our stock characters here. So we have a ton of characters available for use. You do not have to use a custom character if you do not want to. You can always use one of our stock characters. We have a lot of human characters, and then if you scroll all the way down, you will notice that we have everyone else. So these are animals, mythical beings, a bunch of different stock characters here that you can use. Um, so if I was to create a story with, let's say, a frog in it, it would automatically cast Hopper because Hopper is a frog. Um, so just a bunch of other options you can use here, whether it's creating your own character, using one of our custom characters. There's a few different things you can play around with. So I feel pretty good about this video for now. I'm gonna see what the output is, but I like the script and I like my characters and I like the style. So we're gonna make video. Um, this doesn't take very long to generate. I would say this is one of the best things about Hypernatural as an AI video generator is that we care a lot about speed and we care about quality, but we also care a lot about speed and making sure that, you get your first output as quickly as possible. So what this means is that, your first output will be mostly still images, but once you get to review the video, um, you can animate those and add full motion so that these are actually talking characters and it feels more alive, and more like an animation. Um, so as you can see, it's building pretty quickly. While it builds this, which I'm already loving some of these, I'm gonna go and show you all my videos. So as I mentioned, I had already created these characters. I had already added a custom voice. Of course, again, you can do that while you're in the script and making edits, adding people, etc. But sometimes it's a little better to just do those things in advance. If you already have a good sense of what you want your characters to look like, you have a good sense of what you want your style to look like, I strongly suggest coming to my videos first and starting to add things here. So the My Videos tab has where your characters are, your custom styles are, and then your custom voices. And then below, it's also where your projects will live. So this is like your projects page overall. If you want to look at just your characters, you can click on the characters tab, just your styles, and just your voices. So let's say I want to add a new character. So we're going to add a character here, and then this would take me through the exact same process that I went through earlier in adding the custom character the in the script. So I won't repeat that part, but let's say now I want to add a style. And I'm going to add a new style. Now, a video style is really about like what the images will look like. I know sometimes we get a little bit confused about video styles and image styles, and folks will add like content descriptions here, which can kind of confuse the model a little bit. So I would focus a lot on like the lighting, the color, if you're going to add a description to this. You could also just not add a description to it if you just name it. And actually, I don't even have to, it'll name it for me. So all I did was add a reference image. I'm going to generate the style here, and it will return a description and it will name it for me. So 80s neon aesthetic. And then you can see, so our example images here are it's three same example images for all of our styles, but all it does is change based on what this would look like with your style on top of it. So that's kind of what you're seeing here. If this doesn't feel right, or if this isn't what you were looking for, you could play around with the description. I wouldn't like over-index if this feels like the description feels right, then I would still test it out in a video to make sure that like that's like the best way to ensure that your style looks great. So we're gonna go create style here. And now I have another 80s style on top of my 1980s nostalgia style. So slightly different styles, but now I have two styles. So here are And then my voices is the same process here. You're going to create a new voice, the same thing I did earlier where I'm going to record here um, and add a new voice this way. Okay, as you can see, it's already generated my Senior Ditch Day adventure. This was probably done a while ago, but I wanted to go through the My Videos tab. We're going to open this here and we're going to watch a couple of scenes just to see what was generated and if it feels right.
I can't believe we're actually doing this. My heart is pounding.
Claudia said, her voice a mix of excitement and apprehension.
Took you long enough, Anton. Claudia's probably having a meltdown.
Chill, Michelle. I had to find the perfect tunes for our escape.
Anton said, grinning as
Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about my video so far. Um, I'm curious what this will look like once it's animated, but I think this is a good scene. Let's say I don't like this scene here. So there's like randomly grass in her room. And I want to change that. So I'm going to go to swap here and there are some suggestions. I'm not going to use the suggestions. I don't think any of the library suggestions here are going to match my specific output just because I'm using custom characters and I'm using a custom style, so it's unlikely that I'm going to find what I want in the library. But if you're using stock characters and you're using a style that we've provided, strongly suggest checking out our suggestions. We're going to generate new. So Claudia's sitting on the ground, surrounded by tall grass. I don't know why. But if you open up the setting, you'll see she's in her bedroom. So I'm going to remove the tall grass. And sometimes I think this is like a really good place to get started when you're seeing things in your image that don't make sense. Go to the generate image because it'll show you what the prompt was for the current image. And you kind of get a sense of like, oh, okay, I see where this random thing came from. It like got created through the prompt. So, so Claudia's sitting on the ground. We're gonna leave surrounded, her hand claps, expressing mixed feelings, right? And we know the setting is in a bedroom. So I feel good about this one. We're going to generate this image. Now while we wait for that image to generate, which I'm sure won't take very long, but I want to go to this tab over here and kind of show you some of the other things that you can do. So I mentioned already the library. We have a ton of stock images, animations here that folks can use. So you can see like it'll change based on kind of what the prompt is here. Um, Showing this like girl sitting on the floor because Claudia is sitting on the floor. But again, like it doesn't match my style or my stock character because I've created some customizations. But if you're using other things, I think like the stock footage is really great. We have like some premium items. We have VO3 items that you can filter on. And if you're using our specific stock characters, you might want to actually filter on those stock characters or filter on the style that you are using so that you're not getting all of the other styles and images that potentially match the prompt but don't match the character and the style. Another thing you can do is maybe I do like this new image, but I like the old one better. So I'm going to go to this generated tab, and here I'll be able to find the old generated image. So where is the tall grass image? Probably closer to the front. Oh, here we go. Right, so I want to go back to my original image. I can then replace current here, and it will replace this image. I'm not going to do that because I don't actually like the old image more. I like my new image more. But you can also filter here by images or by videos, and that can make the process for finding the thing that you're looking for a little bit easier. The other thing here is you can upload an image. So maybe I have an image of Claudia that I've created somewhere else, or I have a very specific image of like, an image I really liked or an image of a product, etc., that I want to use. I can upload that image here. And then for those uploaded images, I can replace current. So kind of going through the same process of the generated and the stock. And then here we do have a search. So for like any of the images that you have here and however you've named them, you can search on those uploaded images. So that's kind of like swapping the media that's in here. Maybe I don't want to swap the media, but let's say, oh, sorry, I want to go to this specific
Took you
scene.
long enough, Anton.
I don't like the way it's moving. Maybe I want to change the transition a little bit. So, or maybe it was this one even is better.
Michelle, I had to find.
Yeah, so this one kind of like crops off their head as it's zooming in on them, and I don't love that. So I'm gonna go to design, and here are pan and zoom items. So I can do a balance zoom,
Find the perfect tunes for our escape.
cinematic. So and it kind of shows you like what will happen when you pick these. It's a zoom in, pan left, a pan right. You can pick the speed of that, how the image will move. I won't over index on this primarily because my plan is to go full motion. So I want to make a full motion video. So I don't really think the animation piece matters as much, but maybe I just want to do none, right? And keep it a still image. I don't want it to move. The other thing I can change here is captions. So I want smaller captions. I want large, extra large, depending on what style you're going for. Maybe I don't want them at the bottom. I want them at the top, so I can kind of change these. Now, the thing to note here is that right now I'm changing captions for this specific scene. I'm not changing captions for the entire clip. So this is really like I want this caption for this scene to be down here because their faces are up top. And then I could hide captions for this scene for whatever reason. Maybe I don't want captions on this specific scene. The other thing to note here is transitions for transitioning in and out of the video. So the in transitions in, you pick the speed. If I pick none, the direction will go away. So like depending on the type of direction, the type of transition, the direction will change. So this is like a slide. You pick speed. And then like this is transitioning into the slide. If I want to transitioning into the image, if I want to transition out of this specific scene, then I have to click on the Out tab and make the same changes or whatever, however it is that I want to transition out. So that is again for this specific scene. And then size and position, I can change those things here as well. I won't go too deep on these just because I want to actually fully animate this. Then the other thing to call out is here are ways that you can make broader changes to the video. So again, I was making changes to the caption specifically in that scene, but now I'm in this design tab, which is for the global video, all the captions. So here I can hide captions for the entire video if I don't want captions. So just toggle this on, captions for everything will just go away. But I do want captions. I like to be able to read the captions, so I'm going to keep the captions on. And then here I will change what the captions will look like across the entire video. So now, I don't just have the positioning or the size of the captions, I can also change the text and style of each of the captions. So there are a few options here. And we love the color green at Hypernatural, but you are welcome to change this to purple or pink or red or however it is that you would like your captions to get highlighted, um, depending on the style you pick. And then here's my style. So if I make a change here, I then have to go and regenerate to get the entire video to generate. And here, I'm going to skip brand for now, but script. So let's say now we're looking at the script, and maybe I don't actually love the way the script flows. I don't love,
Pounding.
Claudia said, her voice a mix of excitement.
maybe I don't like my heart is pounding, and I want to make changes to that. So here's where I would edit that script. I come here, edit script, and I can make changes here to anything. So the one thing to note about when you're editing the script, I'm going to go and change part of the script. Finding I am so scared, right? I'm going to add a line for her. I'm going to save this, and then it's going to prompt me to regenerate. So here I can regenerate the audio and also regenerate the images, but I've only made changes to the audio, so I don't want to regenerate the images. And making changes to the audio will require it to regenerate the entire audio. So it's going to cost 6 credits to regenerate the audio for that change. Now, let's say I know that I want to make changes to other aspects of the script. This is probably not the best way to do this. I suggest going and making as many changes as possible before you regenerate the audio. So I'm going to say never mind, and I'll go back and make the remaining changes and try to make as many changes as possible so that I can capture those changes in that initial regeneration. Here you can also delete scenes, which again is going to require audio regeneration, and then I can add additional scenes. And then I pick the narrator or one of the characters here for speaking lines. I add some narration, and then once it generates, I can go and generate a video or an image for that specific scene. I'm going to discard these changes, but here's just like quickly where it is that you would go to edit your script. The other really cool thing about the script section is maybe I was wrong. Claudia is not my person for this video, and I want to create either a new character here, going through the same creation, or I want to select an already created character somewhere here. So if I want to create this character with Maya, I would then click here, the regenerate. And now here, I would probably want to regenerate images and audio because Maya has a whole new voice. Or maybe, maybe I've created a character with the same voice and I don't want to recreate the audio, but my suggestion would just be to recreate all of it, just to make sure that like it's in sync, it looks good. So I would then, use the 35 credits to regenerate everything to include this new character instead of using Claudia. Okay, so this is characters. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, so that was characters and script edits. We are now at audio. For audio, you can change the voiceover speed, you can change the volume, or you can add background audio here. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. So here, I don't actually want to make any of these changes, but I'm just letting you know that this is where you can make these changes. Okay, apologies. One last thing I would like to show you all before we go full motion is you can also change down here. Let's say I actually don't want to change the script, but I would like Claudia's probably having a meltdown to all be said when Claudia is having a meltdown. So I'm going to take this right here. See this like little arrow thing just popped up, and I'm going to move it over here. And now this is all.
Claudia's probably having a meltdown.
Chill.
So you can do this in desktop without paying for a regeneration. You just like move it around, get it right, get the timing right based on where the scene is. So all you have to do is just move this around. We're gonna have to expand this so like I can see it more clearly. Grinning, right? So this is how you move this, and like you didn't have to regenerate any audio for this. This is just to ensure that the words are lined up with the images. Strongly could I would say definitely do this before you animate your video if you are planning to animate your video. Because with lip sync, if you start adjusting this after it's already done the animation, you're gonna have to reanimate to get the lip sync right. So that would be my suggestion, is just making sure that however long you want these to be, you get that before you animate your scene. This is also a really good test case for like maybe you just want this image to be on the screen for a few seconds longer. Maybe it isn't about animation, but it's just like generally you want that to be on the scene for a little longer. You should add some more narration and just you could also just delete this whole thing. So it'll say like remove one scene, and then you can go ahead and remove that scene. And now this scene covers both, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. All right. So now what we will do is we are going to go full motion. So as I mentioned, we are currently running a promo with VO3 where you can turn this entire video into a VO3 animation, meaning it will animate every single scene using the VO3 model. So I am going to click up here where it says full motion. As you can see, it's already selected all my scenes because they all need to be animated. And I can add motion down here for currently 0 credits. Now, when we are not running this promo, you will get the right amount for what it costs to animate the full video. This depends on the video length, the amount of scenes you have. Um, so that price changes depending on the number of animations. Okay, while we are waiting for these things to animate, I'm going to, okay. All right, I'm going to answer some of the questions. We have a couple of questions here. Photos available to swap seems limited. You may okay. I'm not sure what we mean by photos available to swap. Oh, I see. You mean here. Okay. Yes. So these suggestions here are limited. These are not your only, as I kind of went through already, these are not your only suggestions. So this is just kind of like they picked out a couple of the things that they think best match. Again, when I'm using a custom style and a bunch of custom characters, this probably isn't going to feel right. But the better place to look at all of your options would be to go here and look at the full stock library. There's so much more than just the options that are shown here. So just click on media, stock, and then you'll have all of the stock options available to you here. You can search them, etc. So that's, yeah, so it's not as limited as it looks on that specific scene. That's just 2 suggestions. Um, All right. And then can you create a custom voice from the web, or does it have to be from someone here with you or yourself? Oh, that is a great question. So we're gonna let this animate. When you create a custom voice, I should have gone through this. You can also upload a file. So if you have a voice that you just really want to use, and you want to create a custom voice, but it's not your voice or it's not a voice of someone that you have next to you, you can upload a file here, an audio file, right? So it's the requirements are down here for what size and type of file can be, and then it'll put you through the same process. It'll give you the preview, and you can name it however you'd like. So yeah, it does not have to be a voice. It doesn't have to be just the record option. It can be an uploader file as well. Okay. Okay, Kristen, your question on making it larger. I mean, there isn't a way to do that at the moment, but that is that is good feedback, and we will share that with the team. So thanks. All right. And then changing the voices of preset characters is actually not an option. So the voices that are already set, if you wanted to use one of the stock characters but add a different voice, you could find a similar image of that character and then add a voice. So you just have to create it as a custom character. But there's currently no way to change the stock characters' voices. Sorry. Answer to live. Okay. All right, so it looks like the animation is done here. Okay, so let's see how we did.
I can't believe we're actually doing this. My heart is pounding.
Claudia said, her voice a mix of excitement and apprehension.
Took you long enough, Anton. Claudia's probably having a meltdown.
Okay.
Chill, Michelle. I had to find the perfect tunes for our escape.
Anton said, grinning as he adjusted the boombox on his shoulder.
Great. So, I can, let's see. So let's say, let me see if I can find an image I don't like.
Claudia exclaimed, scanning the street nervously.
Right. So this here, Claudia is exclaiming, scanning the street
Claudia
nervously,
exclaimed, scanning the street.
but she's mostly smiling. So maybe I want to make a change to this one so that she is actually doing as the narrator is saying she is doing. So I'm gonna go here to swap first. I could just reanimate this. I could go straight to reanimate with AI and change this here. Right, so now it's showing me um the prompt. The woman breathes deeply, glancing at the empty street, tension evident in her posture and facial expression. So maybe I want to use the same prompt and just try to reanimate. Um, the thing about the reanimation is you get a few reanimations for free. So I might just want to do this instead of animating an image. If I don't like the image overall, though, like the best option is first to reanimate the image using this prompt and the setting prompt here, and then animating. Sorry, regenerating the image here, and then animating it so that it's like actually a whole new image. If I do this, it more likely might still use the same setting and general prompt description. So I do like this general setting, so I'm probably just going to reanimate here with AI. And that is just for the specific one. But that is how you can reanimate this image, or you can again uh, generate a new image and then animate it. Okay. So while we wait for this one, we have a couple of questions also in the chat. Oh, we have more Q&As. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Beth asked a question about, do you have a suggestion for a website that offers free images that are free to upload in case there isn't anything that fits in your stock? Um, So that's a great question. I mean, I generally just Google these things. And if you are already a ChatGPT user, sometimes I just use ChatGPT to generate an image that I like. For instance, I use ChatGPT to generate the stock characters just because it makes it a little easier. It creates a little bit consistency across the stock characters versus me finding an image of a character. So that's an option. You know, it gives better quality. The other thing I've seen folks do, like if they're using historical characters, for instance, is Wikipedia. Wikipedia will use better images of that character or of that person than like you might find in some random website. So I don't have like an exact website. A lot of times it's just like going through Google and trying to find a good image. Um, yes. So yes, Judah, we will share the recording later for you all to take a look. And also we will start to host these pretty regularly. So if at any point you need a refresher, or things have changed in the tool and you want to check out a different webinar, we'll probably do these on a monthly basis so you all can keep updated. But we will share this recording later as well. For the media upload folder, it would be amazing if you guys could add tagging, allow us to rename the files. Yep, this is great feedback. Thank you so much, Raja. We will make sure to share this with the team. We're definitely getting feedback on just generally like managing media, shared media more. So this is all really good feedback. Okay. So let's see if that did what I wanted to do.
Treat nervously.
Finally, some
Okay,
relaxation.
still not nervous enough for me. So again, in this situation, I would just generate new um and try to get the expression right on her face so that maybe I get a little bit more of a nervous look on Claudia's face instead of like the smile. She could be smiling nervously, but I'm just like a little bit more nervous. And then here I would maybe change the setting if I wanted it to look like something different. And then I would reanimate the image. Okay. All right, so that is everything in the editor that I'll go through today. The thing then to kind of close this out is how do I get this thing downloaded? So here is our export button. You have a couple of export options here. You can click share, and this will start the export option. So what export is doing is creating a link, hence the reason you have access here. So for the access of the link, you can share it publicly. You can have it unlisted. So if you share the link with anybody, they will see it, but it won't show up. Like I can't just Google it or search for it in Hypernatural. Um, and then private means like only you can see it. So even if you share the link, no one else will be able to see this video. As you can see, these are premium options. So when you are on a free plan, any video you export will show up publicly on the Hypernatural Explore page. Then the resolution, I went with standard, but you could also go with higher quality resolutions. And now you see copy link here. So this is the link that sends you to the Hypernatural. So I'm gonna just, right. So this is the Hypernatural link.
Heart is pounding.
Claudia's
And this is the link that, because it's unlisted, as you can see here, I can share this with anybody and they will be able to view it, but it will not show up in it won't show up in like a public Hypernatural site. Then I can also manage this by, share this by connecting to my YouTube and going this route, just, a direct link between Hypernatural and YouTube. But to download this, I'm going to go to exports and then I can download it here and it would automatically just download to my downloads. Okay. So that is pretty much how you go create your characters. You're going to create a style. You're going to add your voices, and then create your first Hypernatural video, download it, and share it across your socials or with all your family and friends. Want to see if we have any additional questions in the chat. So now is a good time. Add your questions. I'll start going through some of these questions. So if anyone has any additional questions that they like to add, please add it to the Q&A. Yes, so for the support, yes, Judah, we will do our best to get back to you. We are a very, very small team of people building this really, really awesome platform. So we do our best to get back to support as quickly as possible. And yeah, Finn, our AI bot, takes a bit to update when we have updates to the platform, but we will do our best to make sure that Finn also has reliable information. So thank you so much for flagging that. And then I see some folks actually ask questions in the chat. All right. If I maxed out on character creation, is there a way to purchase more? So we don't have characters purchased a la carte. If you have the year plan and you have 12, I can understand why that's frustrating that you want to just purchase characters and not get necessarily credits or anything else. One way to do this is also you can delete characters. So if you delete characters that you're no longer using, you can make space for some new characters. So that is an option. Uh, let's see. Yes, everyone, yes, we will share a recording of this so folks can watch it when they have chance. Okay, I went through the preset characters. Oh, so yeah, the promotion is for only one video. That's a great question. We're only making one video free. And a big part of this is we just launched full motion, so this is a part of our most recent launch. So we really want folks to kind of see what it does. So please do use your full motion VO3 free video as quickly as you can, and yeah, give us feedback. But it is only one video. Um, Kelly, your question about having your character carry on a conversation, I hope this answered that question. Just, you add full motion and that is how you get your characters to lip sync. In terms of product reviews, so there are possible of some ways that you could do this, but object consistency is a little hard. We've gotten feedback on this, so I appreciate you requesting this. But some of the best ways to do this is just like get uploaded images and then trying to add, B-roll around those uploaded images so that like the actual product that you're looking for is more consistent. And you see, in terms of putting a title directly on the first picture, um, so one way you could do this is you can upload an image of that title. So let's say I wanted to go to this and I want to keep the image exactly the same. I can upload an image here if like you want it to look a specific way. Um, and like, so if I wanted to like, let's say I want to use the Hypernatural logo here, I would add that as a new layer and then it would add the image here. The other option is you can actually edit the spelling here without editing the actual uh, what is being said. So if I edit spelling here, let's say don't insert a new scene. Oh gosh. Okay, well, actually that probably is fine. If I want to edit the spelling here and I'm just like title, it won't actually say title, it'll just say I. Or I can mute this. Right? And it kind of, yeah, just shows that page for, I mean, the word itself was only I, so it's going to be a very fast page. But that is one way to add a title here without having to upload any images. Okay. So I think I've gone through, let me see, any more questions over here? Oh, okay, Raja, that's a great question about a default setting to not cast characters. Yes, I know it can be a little hard to make sure that like characters aren't casted and you're kind of just using images of people. One way to do this, because sometimes it'll just cast a character and maybe you don't want that. I'm gonna do marketing. Just gonna click something to kind of just show how we can do this. Maybe this won't be a good example because I might not cast any characters anyway. Oh no, so I did cast characters. Okay. So it's casting characters here. Um, in the interest of time, I probably won't wait for this whole thing to load, but one way to do this would be to go down to change script here and then just type in remove, no, remove characters. And that usually changes all of the character lines to a narrator line, and gets it down to just a narrator. But we are also working on this the script change box. Oh, and it didn't do that. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, so play around with this. I think generally this will get you what you want, or if not, in the initial prompt, just if you have a script and that script doesn't include characters, the other way you could do this is is by using the voiceover option here. So if you use voiceover and then you include the script that you're looking for instead of right, so you paste in your script here, paste in your voiceover, and it doesn't include character lines, that should remove the casting of any characters. All right. But that is great feedback. So I will make sure to share that back with the team. Yeah, so I can go over the layer thing one more time, and I will probably go in this in more detail when we do like the deep dive. So again, if this felt like, oh, I know how to do these things already, I want to go deeper, please do come to our next webinar next week. So we're gonna click on this, and let's say I want to. So a couple of different use cases for this would be like wanting to add an image, like just your logo. That is one way to add the logo. The other way to add the logo would be to go to design and go down here to brand. And here I can show, sorry, not show title. I can show it in the top left, and that'll, show it across every scene. So that's if you wanted to add a logo, that would be the best way to do that, assuming you wanted it on every scene. I don't want our logo on this one, but maybe I do want to go back and add an image. So design, media. I'm gonna go uploaded. I'm gonna add this. So if you add it, it immediately takes over the whole screen, but you then go to design and layout, and here I can change the size of this. Oh my gosh, I didn't add it as a layer. I'm so sorry. Let me go to this one. Uploaded, add as a new layer. Sorry. All right, so it takes over. I don't want it to look that big. I'm doing the wrong one. Image here. I'm going to make it small, right? So clicking on image, and then I can change the position here. So that's like if I wanted to add the logo to just some, the first page, the last page, or the last scene, that is how I would do that here. If I no longer want this, I then just remove the image here. So that is a use case of that. Sometimes people use this if like they are making a product video. Let's say you have someone who's like speaking, but you want like the product or like the logo or something to pop up while they're saying the product name. That's a really good use case for that as well. Um, yeah, so I think people just like if there are the use cases for this is like you have a very specific thing that you want shown or added to the video at any specific time. Adding a new layer is a good use case for that. I see. Okay, that's helpful, Raja, in terms of the not casting. Um, Judah, we have gotten some questions about more text caption variation. We don't necessarily have plans at the moment to add those things, but I will definitely share that feedback with the team, um, that people would like a little more control and variation over the text captions. Okay, so this is our 101. Can you do music video with everything sync up? Okay, Kelly, yeah, great question. So we are not fully optimized for music videos, but if you use the narrated, if you go here and you use the narrated audio option, sometimes this will work out depending on like how clear the audio is and the music audio is, and it'll make like a somewhat music video. But again, like this is not optimized yet for a music video. We have gotten this request as well, so we know like this is something people really want. But at this moment in time, that is the best thing I would suggest trying is using the narrated audio, uploading a music video, and then it'll transcribe it. And because it has audio, it usually won't add the speaker on top of it, and then it'll just like generate images. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear people really want music videos. I love that. Okay, great. So I mean, I think that's everything we have for today. One thing I will plug just as like you're getting started. If you're ever curious about some of our new features, you'd go here. This is what our profile settings here, profile and subscriptions. This is where you manage all your stuff. You see your credit balance. You can get your referral link if you want maybe 100 extra credits for inviting a friend to sign up. Um, so this is where you'd manage those things. The other thing is Uh, I don't have any right now because we don't have any beta features out at the moment, but sometimes there is a section here for experimental features. So if you're ever curious about new things and you're like, oh, I wonder if Hypernatural has rolled out any new beta features that I can try out, come check this area and see if we have any beta features that you might want to test out and give us feedback on. For right now, we don't have any, but I'm sure we will be sending out a few more soon. So awesome. Yes, correct. So the new editor we have, there are less variations on the caption settings. So it has, the sizing and most of them, but we did like kind of limit that a little bit, and I will make sure to share that feedback back with the team. Okay. And in terms of accessing this later, I will send this via email. I will send this recording via email so anyone can watch this back. Again, we will keep doing these, so check back on the Luma or subscribe to our Luma events calendar to check out if we have any new upcoming webinars. We will try to do this on a monthly basis, just so it's getting refreshed. And, as we're rolling out new features, we'll be talking about them here as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for making the time today, for asking your questions. And if you need anything else, you know where to reach us. Okay, awesome. Thanks, y'all.